Alrighty, so my name's Kara Allen, for those of you that don't know me. I'm just not by my mic. Probably don't like that. Okay, so we have chocolate today because you guys get to interact, right? It's not just me talking up here. So all answers get chocolate today. All right, so my name's Kara Allen. I am originally from Utah. I grew up in Bountiful. I moved away to Arizona and I learned to say my T's in Bountiful. It's no longer bountiful. But I taught here on campus in 2006 through 2008, moved away, and then I started teaching online again in 2010. So I love BYU-Idaho. I'm grateful to be here and grateful that they keep me around and that I get to work for them. So today with our whole leadership, come on in. With our whole leadership theme this time, one of the ideas that kind of kept coming to my mind was the difference between leaders and managers. And a lot of times we use those words interchangeably. And I think we probably all know that they're really not, right? So we're aspiring to be leaders, not this guy, right? So I want you to think for a minute. You all have had this manager right here, right? Or leader, you can call him whatever you want. But you've all had this guy, I know you have. It might have been your Taco Bell job when you were 16 and you're, rolling tacos or flipping burgers. It might have been your first real job. Hopefully it's not anybody now, at least here, right? Your day job might be different. But I want you to think for a second of your very first this kind of boss. I want you to think about him or her and why they were like this. Why did you not like them? What kind of bugged you, or what did they do that you didn't like so much? And we're going to make a list up here. Just throw them out there. Okay? Remember, you get chocolate. Okay, so tell me some of the things that this guy probably does. Your boss that was so terrible, what did he do?
Not take your feelings into account.
Okay. Okay, so he was what, thoughtless? Okay. And dismissive. Didn't listen. Do you want to close that? Dismissive. I got off because I was. There we go. Okay. What else?
Just very few social things or things for fun. It's all about the job, and there's never any parties. There's never any let's get to know each other.
Good. Not fun, right? So you dread getting up in the morning, right? That was the job where, heads up, I don't know how well I always throw. Was there one back there? Not fun. He was the one where you dreaded up. Who else was there? Yeah, I think it was. Now you have to give me an answer, though. Okay. Like ornery?
Yes.
Good. How do you spell ornery? Is it an A? Like that? Grumpy. There you go. Ornery or grumpy. Yes. Thank you. That is a great word. Okay, your managers that micromanage, don't you just want to be like, I can do it. I can be an adult. I can do it, right? Okay. Micromanage.
They get upset with you because they're upset about something else.
Oops, sorry. Heads up. Yes. Okay, so they take it out on you.
Yeah.
What's that? What's the short word for that? We'll just put blame. Yeah. They always blame you, right? They're not the leader. They're not taking, here, heads up. Back there. And you. Did I get everybody so far? Okay, so they blame you no matter who's wrong, right? They don't take the blame. They don't fix it. They want to blame somebody. Okay. All right, we have enough of those. Versus this guy, right? So before we go to this one, though, I have to tell you about, really quick, I forgot. So my first boss, that was this guy, he loved the Packers, and to this day, I hate the Packers. And I hate Favre. Not because of who he is, but because when the Packers lost, I knew the next day my life was going to be miserable. Because I was like his assistant, his little peon. And if the Packers lost, he was in such a bad mood that I got blamed for everything. And it was a football game, and I love football. But I knew that day was bad. I almost wanted to call in sick on those days. So that is who sticks in my head when I think about that guy. Okay, so this guy now. How many of you have had this boss? So much nicer to work for, right? How many of you don't have to answer this out loud, how many of you are the first guy or the second guy? Right? Which boss are you? Okay, throw out some of the other guy. Why do we like working for that guy?
Expectations are clear.
Okay, so they're clear. Okay, what else? Good.
Approachable.
Okay,
Works off of personal power rather than position power. So, kind, friendly, builds a bond with his people.
okay. So I'm just going to put kind to kind of sum that up, but almost like diplomatic in a way, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What was over here?
Assumes the best.
Okay.
I think you said respect.
Respect. That one's what I heard too. Assumes the best in his people, right? So he wants to praise you. He wants to come to work. You know, we've all heard that phrase that says people work harder for praises than they do for raises, right? When a boss figures that out, he has a dream team. Respect. Okay, what else?
He works alongside you.
Okay.
He does the work too.
Good. He works with you. He's on the front lines, right?
And just an observation. The first guy is usually very insecure, and the second one is very comfortable with himself.
I like that. Okay. Because oftentimes, how often do we take our insecurities out on other people, right? We blame them because we're a little bit unsure. So we want to look good, right? It's all about us. I. Okay, good. All right, and I'm going to put fun down here because we had not fun over here, and I really like the fun part, right? Like when people hit you in the face with chocolate. Okay? All right.
That person has the ability to raise the level of functioning for the whole group by raising their own personal standards. They raise the standard for the team.
Good. Okay, so they raise the bar just because they're modeling that, right? They're not just saying, you go do this. They're saying, you do what I do.
And they have a way of getting things done where people get on board, even if it's the same hard thing that both bosses want you to do.
Yes.
They have a way of getting people on board.
Good. Okay. Love it. Love all those lists. Okay, I want you to keep those ideas in your head as we go through this then, keeping in mind the good leader and not wanting those qualities that we have from the bad leader guy. My PC ran into a problem and needs to restart.
Oh, no.
Why? It looks good. That side looks good. This side has a big frowny face. It really does. That's not so good. And it has the code. It says it's collecting error info and then it can restart. Well, that's not cool. Did it? I've never seen this screen before. And it's like frozen.
It's loud that it would only show up while you're.
I know, right? I know, it literally has a big frowny face. Ah. And it's frozen. Let's unplug you. See if we take you out. It'll go away. No?
I got a good practice
Maybe?
It's better this.
Having technical difficulties, Melissa.
Uh-oh.
Do you see this big frowny face on my screen?
It's not connecting.
It was, and then it said it had errors, and I had to restart. So we're going to restart really quick. Okay, well, while it's restarting, the next slide would have this beautiful picture of our Savior, because you know where I'm going with that, right? Okay, so comparing the bad manager, the good manager, and then moving into our Savior. Okay, so you guys all got this book today. Pull it out, because we're going to use it. Lots of great quotes in there. So pull that out while we restart really quick. Okay, so while you are pulling that out, throw out some things about why the Savior is a good leader. I mean, obvious answers, but why is he why was he the second guy? Why was he the leader everybody wanted to follow? Obviously, it wasn't a work situation, but he was a leader and they were following him, right? Disciples followed. Yeah.
The biggest thing is that he loved those he taught.
Good. Okay, and they felt that, right? You know, the people don't care what you think until they know you love them, right? That quote. So look on page, don't roll away, 4 and 5. I think it's slowly coming back up. We'll see if it lives or not. Okay, so look on page 4 and 5. We have the lead like the Savior, okay? But I want you to start looking through the talents that are below to kind of maybe get some ideas, kind of brainstorm a little bit about the Savior. Okay, so, but as you have that handy, flip to page 7. I loved this quote that it has in there. Okay, so it's this paragraph down here, kind of towards the end. And there, and I love how it said, by deliberately and consistently applying the leadership pattern to your business accountabilities and goals, you will be able to, 1, increase inspiration. We talked about that, raising the bar, right, like the Savior would. Lifting burdens and strengthen relationships in order to help move the work forward. In other words, you will be able to lead more like the Savior. So I love it, those 3 things right there, right, that we had under our good leader list. Okay, now turn to, let me think what page. Oh, not yet. Okay, so this is slowly coming back. It's really not mad or not happy. I want you to throw out some examples, though, of where the leader led. So one that I saw today in a different presentation was the woman taken in adultery, right? And how did the Savior lead? Can you think about what he did? Yeah.
He asked the question, he who is without sin, cast the first.
Okay, so he asked questions. What else did he do?
He remained calm in an anxious situation.
Okay, he didn't jump gun, right?
In the sand, and he didn't even look up for a while. He just listened,
Mm-hmm.
and he stayed calm.
Good. So that did that for him, but what did it do for the accusers too? By him not responding and taking a moment of quiet, what did it do to them?
Took away some of their thunder and their...
Right? Like they're ready to fight, and he didn't respond with that fight. And so, that's my daughter. It kind of, oh, it's not quite all back up yet. I'm missing a whole row of icons. Anyway, but yeah, it took that steam out of their fight, right? So it kind of made everybody pause for a second. What else? Yeah.
I like how humble he is. He never takes credit for what he does. He gives it all back to the Father.
Good. And I think that is a true Christ-like leader. Remember over here where they were so insecure they blamed people? Whereas when it's a true leader, they will take the fall. Even if they weren't wrong, they'll take the fall so that they can help their team grow and feel better. I heard a story once of a mechanic who was a great mechanic. He did a great job. And one day, though, he messed up and he did something really bad, made a big mistake, cost a lot of money. And so that leader that was, or that manager that was on duty, instead of taking him aside and saying, hey, this was kind of big, let's talk about this, he raised that car up in the middle of the shop and he brought in all the workers. And he showed them exactly what he had done wrong, and he rebuked that guy. And what did the guy do? What do you think? Yeah, next day he was gone. He didn't come back, he was gone. And he left mechanics in general, overall, because he just was devastated. And I just think, again, you know, like, are we a leader that is empowering our people and teaching them and helping them to be better? Okay, so the next slide that you can see up there would talk about the 4 different lenses that often people see life through. Okay, so I got this from a book that I really loved, a guy named Orrin Woodward. I don't know if you've heard of him, but great leader. Come on in, ladies. We're having technical difficulties at the moment, so you can imagine slides where it says that. But anyway, so he talks about these 4 different attributes, or these different lenses that we see life through. I don't know why it's not like popping up my menus. Like, I don't want that. And the first one was the victim lens. So how many of you have met the victim? Think instructors or students. Okay, what do? Just throw out some things. What does the victim lens do?
Never their fault.
Always, right?
Somebody else did something to them.
Yes?
Lots of excuses.
Always, right? There's always an excuse. There's always a reason why they were wronged. It never went their way, even though they were always right. See if I can get to it this way since it's not popping up that way. Okay, all right, so that's the victim lens. And without a lot of training and schooling and education or the right environment or parents or whatever, primary, some people stay in the victim lens, right? But hopefully when we leave childhood, we can get past the victim lens, right? My child is still in the victim lens a lot. Okay, but what is the next lens? Okay, so the next lens is the follower lens. Okay, so this is the person that just says, where's everybody going? What are they doing? I want to be on there. I want to jump on that boat, right? They don't want to make any decisions. They just want to pick the right group and they just want to sail through, right? They want to ride the coattails. They don't want to be in trouble because if they make the decisions, then they're accountable, right? But if they don't make the decisions, then that's okay. So that's the follower lens. Okay, oftentimes this is our teenagers, right? We don't want to be stuck in teenagerhood for the rest of our lives. So hopefully we progress out of that. Yeah, I know we need to recover that because we had a big frowny face. Let's pull that up, bud. Okay, so then the next two lenses are the ones I want to really focus on today. And that is the performer lens, which you could also call the manager lens, or, and then after that is the leadership lens. Okay, so obviously as leaders here at BYU-Idaho, we're aspiring to be like our savior. Oh, close. What? Come back. Are you kidding? It says it's updating office. Why? Just used it. Okay, so apparently we're not having a slideshow today. We'll maybe get it back in a minute. Okay, so anyway, the performer lens and the leadership lens, we've talked about them a little bit. Okay, so the performer is the manager. He's the one that's all about I, right? I, me. How am I going to look good? How am I going to get the job done? What am I going to tell you to do? We threw out the micromanaging word. Okay, that's often the case. And there's great managers out there, right? But still, they sometimes fall under some of these categories. Okay, but then there's the leader, and he is the we, right? There was a really great quote on page 8. So pull this out again. Go to page 8. That kind of made leaders stand above managers. And this is under the how do I start part. Under what lack I yet. Will somebody read that for me? Melissa, you want to read that for me?
Identify a personal
Oh, that'll work.
Me, Melissa?
Yeah.
Identify a personal or workplace need or gap that, once filled, could help you lead more like a savior, or identify a strength that you can leverage to a greater degree.
I really like the last sentence. Did you catch that part? Or they identify a strength in themselves or their people that work for them, and they leverage that to a greater degree. How many times do you have a manager who focuses on what you're lacking? You didn't do this fast enough. You didn't get that out on time. You're behind on this. But instead, when you have the leader who comes in and says, you did so great with this, doesn't that make you want to do that faster and better next time? Yeah. But when you're always being told you're falling behind and doing a poor job, that's what sticks in your head. Okay, so I really like that part, the identifying strengths. That's what leaders do. Okay, so going back to that chart on page 4 and 5, look at those talents down here. Mine's already written all over. These are all strengths that, as a leader, you can pull from your people. Leaders are not perfect, but they create perfect teams, right? In other words, they create teams of people that have strengths where they have weaknesses. So wherever my weaknesses are, I'm looking for people to join my group, my team, that have those as strengths, right? The funny guy, I want him on my team because that's not usually me. The extrovert that's out there friending everybody, I want them on my team. I got the details handled. I got that. I'm OCD and perfect all the time, right? The power player, I want them on the team. The person that's going to go out and get the job done, I want them on my team. Okay, so you find people that have your weaknesses and you put them on your team. And then you watch them and you become better in that because they have that strength and they're modeling it instead of focusing on your weaknesses all the time. Okay. I think this might work. We really kind of need, yay, okay. We really kind of need the next 2 slides. So before it dies again, we're going to look at that. There's a pretty picture of the Savior, right, leading. Here's our lenses. Okay. This is the perplexing personalities part that I got you all here, right, that you wanted to hear about. Okay, so how many of you have done some type of personality testing at some point in your life? Whether it's the color coding, this one is names, it's from the Personality Plus book. The DISC method, anybody heard of that one? Okay, all kinds, but they all pretty much group people into how many personalities? 4, right? Okay, and one of the things I've really learned, we need some more chocolate being passed around. And I already ripped the bag, so I'm going to throw it. Ready? All right, so one of the things I've learned is that personalities matter, right? In the back. Okay, now here you go. When you can communicate with people in their personality, you're good? They respond so much better. I will hit the baby, so we won't do that. I would hit your equipment, but you guys are welcome to have chocolate. You ready? I'm not throwing by that. There you go. Okay. All right. So these are the 4 that I wanted to talk about. The only reason why I really like this book is because I remember names better, and I don't have to remember which color goes with which particular grouping. Sometimes I'm green in one color and I'm white in another one. This one's just easier for me to remember. So we're going to talk about these 4 for a second and spend a little bit of time here because I think the personalities are really what helps leaders to lead well. Because if I am a power person, I'm always in your face. My husband's not a power person. And I'm like a dead even split between detailed and power. So he gets really mad because I go to the grocery store and it takes me 30 minutes to pick out peanut butter. Because I'm going to be the one that picks it out, but I got to pick the best still. And it has to be me. So he's not like that. He's so laid back. And so if I get in his face right here, he just shuts down. That is not the way to communicate with him. So how many of you have instructors like that, where you have approached them wrong and it just shut them down? And so when you learn personalities, I've just found that it's just really big key to learning how to connect with people. Okay, so I'm going to try this nifty little laser pointer. Let's start with this powerful choleric right here. Okay, they were going to bring me worksheets, but I don't know if they did. Hey, come on in. Okay, so over here, the choleric, they have these kind of funny words, but basically they're your control person, they're your power player. They just want to get it done. They will figure out how to get it done. Oftentimes it is them that will get it done. They're not necessarily, come on in, always the team player because they just want to get the results done. So one of the things I really like about this is that they group this into extroverted, introverted, task-oriented, people-oriented. So this choleric person over here, they are extroverted, but they are task-oriented. So people are not so important to them, right? They're going to go out and they'll be in your face. They're extroverted. They're out there with people, but they are focused on the task. Okay, so they are really good about getting it done and leading naturally, taking control of situations that are crazy. They love loyalty, appreciation. They love credit for their work. So if you work with somebody that's choleric, just praise the heck out of them. They'll love it. They just love for you to notice what they did. Their weakness, if taken to extreme, their personality is that they're the boss. They're bossy. Okay, and they control by anger, by being mad. You fear them when they get upset. Okay. All right, down here we have the peaceful phlegmatics. They're kind of the opposite. They are your laid back. They are introverted, people-oriented. So they like to people watch. How many of you like to go to the mall and sit on the bench and watch what people are doing? That's you. Okay? You love to be kind of behind the scenes. You're introverted, but you're just fascinated with what people are doing. You are the peacemakers, and you're everybody's friend. Everybody loves you because you never make anybody mad because you just sit back and watch and listen. Then you might also have some of the choleric, right? So the peaceful phlegmatic, they don't like conflict. They love for things to just be peaceful, quiet. They love to relax. And so if taken to an extreme, these are lazy people is what they get called because they would love to do nothing. They would love to just sit on the couch, just watch people all day, right? Okay, all right, so the next one, we'll go up here, is oops, hit the wrong button. That's okay. The sanguines, popular sanguines. These are the people that woo anytime you talk to them. If you're like, hey, where's my sanguines? They're like, woohoo, always, because they just love to cheer. They're your cheerleaders. They're excited all the time. They love to have fun. Taken to an extreme, they're never serious. Okay, so how many of you have instructors or students where you're just like, okay, but I'm trying to tell you right here, this is a real problem in your class. You need to work on this. And they're all, oh, yeah, I'll get to it later. You know, this is your sanguines where they just really don't like those nitty gritty details. They just like to have fun. Okay, and now keep in mind, most people are two of these. They usually have kind of a strong one and then a close second. And like I said, I'm a dead even between choleric and the melancholy that we're getting to. My husband's a double phlegmatic. He's so chill, calm. So for me, I really have to not get in his face because that is not his personality at all. That's really hard for me because I really like to tell him how to work, how to clean the tub, right? Okay, so then we have perfect melancholy down here. These are your OCD detailed people. How many of you love Excel? The program Excel. Excel is my best friend. I do everything in Excel. I have recipes in Excel. Everything is in Excel. I love details. I love charts. I love graphing. I love telling people what they're going to do and where they're going to do it. I get to Disneyland and I have a plan. We're hitting this there and then this, the line shorter this time and this time. Yep, see, Melissa knows. Right? These are your melancholy people. Taken to an extreme, they're perfect. Just kidding. Taking to an extreme, we tend to think we're perfect. We tend to think we're always right. Okay? So how many of you deal with those kind of people? Right? That you kind of struggle with them because you just can't get through. They never hear your side. They're always right. They can argue that the sky is purple, and by the end of the conversation, you kind of believe them. They make sense. And you know they're wrong, but they make sense. Okay, these are your melancholy people. Okay, so sometimes pictures help. So your cholerics are like your lions, right? Your phlegmatics are the trusty, what is that dog? Yeah. Is it a lab? Retriever, golden retriever. Okay, your trusty golden retriever, right? Then you have your melancholies, which are the dutiful beavers, right? They're always working. I never stop working. It drives my husband nuts. He's like, just watch the show. And I'm all, I have to multitask. I can't. Okay? And then there's your sanguines, which are the playful otters, right? They're like the sea otter. Have you ever gone to like SeaWorld and you go by the otter tank and they're like doing backflips and they're swimming, and then you've got the sharks that are like hiding for everybody, right? But not the sea otters. They're playing and they're feeding off of attention. Okay, so that's your sanguines. Okay, so that makes sense. You guys kind of have these stuck in your head now?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it possible to be a mix?
Yes. So very rarely you'll find people that are very good in all four.
Okay.
Most people are a mix of two.
Okay.
So do you guys kind of starting to think where you might fall? I have the test that you can take. That's what they're supposed to bring me. It's that website down there on the bottom that has the test that you can take. You can fill out all the thing. It will tell you which ones yours are.
You know, we talk about, like with our spouse, opposites attract,
Mm-hmm.
and it really does with personalities.
It does.
Rarely do you see two that have the same personality or fit into the same, especially if it's extreme.
Right.
Because if they do, then they don't last very
Mm-hmm.
long.
Yep.
Just like all the
Yeah. Every now and then you'll see like this power couple that they're both like strong leaders and stuff, and it works for them. They fight all the time. They're kind of funny to watch, but it works for them. But very rarely, most of the time, you find your opposite because they have your weaknesses as their strengths, and you want them, and that's what you're attracted to them, and so you marry them, and then you almost get divorced because of your opposites, right? After you live with them for a long time, you realize that you really have to work together to keep those blended. But it's supposed to be that way. You're supposed to find your opposites. That's a totally different story. Okay, all right, so let's pull this back onto work then. All right, so with these personalities then, keeping in mind those four now, how can we use these to be better leaders here at BYU-Idaho? Okay, so I have this example right here about this TGL. What time is it? How are we doing on time? Maybe I watch. Okay. Okay. So this is just one example. An instructor sends their TGL an upset email. Okay, so the first scenario is the instructor is choleric. And let's just say they're emailing a phlegmatic boss. Okay, so the instructor's the power guy, their boss is the relaxed guy, right? So if you're going to pretend you're the TGL, okay? You're the one getting this email. Okay, so you're the relaxed, phlegmatic, laid back, chill TGL. And your instructor sends you this email. What's it going to look like? Okay, they're going to be angry, right? What else? Chaos, right?
Yeah.
The choleric people, they lose it when they just feel like it's chaotic. Okay, what else? Did I see another hand? Okay.
Super abrupt.
Yes, it'll be short. Are they going to be lengthy?
There's no fluff in there.
No, there's nothing. There's not the sandwich method. There's no happiness first, right? And then the problem and then the nice stuff at the end. Oh, no. They just have that second part. This is wrong. I need it fixed. Okay, so as the TGL then, you're phlegmatic. How are you going to respond? Remember, you're doing their personality, not yours. And this is going to be hard for the phlegmatic person, okay? All right, chocolate, while you're thinking, in the back. You're the TGL. How are you going to respond? Yep, sorry, I want to short.
We're responding as we're phlegmatic, or as we're...
You're the phlegmatic boss that has to respond to this choleric instructor. You have to fix their problem in their love language. That's a different book. Okay, so how are you going to write back to them? Want some? Okay, is it going to be this kind sandwich method email? To the point. Okay, if you start with the sandwich method, catch. You have to have heads up. They're going to be more mad, right? They're going to lose it because you haven't taken control of the situation yet. They're still upset and they don't see that you fixed it. So if you're dealing with a choleric person, number one, you have to take control. You got to show them that there is a plan, there is control, there's no chaos anymore. I know, we will fix it and we'll do it together, right? That's all they want to hear. If you start with, I'm so sorry that you feel that way, they're going to just want to beat you, right? Okay, so this is what I've kind of learned is that you really have to respond with their language. Come on in. And hopefully they will grow with you. Okay, but you have to connect with them first. They have to feel that you love and care. They're only going to feel that if you respond in their love language. And then they can modify what you do.
I am choleric.
Uh-huh.
You had better address every point that I listed.
Uh-huh.
That's my other
When you send an email, if it has 5 points, you want 5 points back, right?
I'm upset about 5 things.
Yep.
Please address all 5. Don't just
Yep.
give me a fluffy answer.
Yep. When I email Melissa back, I often just reply to hers and I don't write my own thing. I just go down to her bullets and I respond. Right?
The exact same.
We are. Yeah, me and her, we do awesome. We feel each other's pain all the time. Yeah, but yeah, that's how we are. We like it that way. Yep, very good point. Okay. All right, you're getting the idea? Here's your next one. Respond with control. We got that. Okay, this time the instructor is melancholy. They're perfect, like me, right? They're the detailed, they're the charter, the planner, they're OCD about that, okay? They like the details. You are the TGL. Let's make you choleric this time, okay? So you are the bossy, just get it done TGL. How are you going to respond to this detailed email? Well, first, what's this email going to look like? Okay,
Dates, times.
of what's not working, right? Okay,
Really specific.
good, really specific.
They write the longest stories.
Yes, they are going to give you every single detail, right?
Plan for it all.
They do. They're going to tell you already how to fix it. That's the key right there. You just have to read through their plan, and if you agree, say, awesome, implement. Like, that's all they want, right? They already did the work for you, okay? That's what's so nice. And if
they'll gladly implement it.
they will.
Yes.
Yes, they are the ultimate delegators, right? I should say, they delegate really well and then they micromanage if they haven't learned that part. Right? They come behind and they re-clean the tub, right? Okay. But yes, you need to respond with the plan or just implement theirs because that's what they want. They want a plan. Okay, again, so if you respond to them and you kind of get in their face and you're like, no, it's going fine. You just need to, get on board and do it. They're not going to understand that. They're not going to see, that the current plan's okay. But if you rewrite the current plan with a few different words, they'll implement it. Like, if you can just tweak it enough to kind of put some of their ideas in there so they think it's a new plan, they'll implement it, okay, because it's a new plan. Obviously, don't trick them, but that's what they're looking for is a plan. Okay, here's the next one. All right, this time your instructor is phlegmatic. They're the peaceful one. Okay, so first, what's their email going to look like?
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I don't want to get any
Yes.
trouble. I don't wanna ruffle
I'm so
any
sorry I'm even writing this email, right? Yep.
Perhaps could you
Yes, maybe, perhaps, if it's okay, if you have time when you get to it, right? They feel really bad. They avoid confrontation. They don't want to have this talk. When did the problem occur that they're writing about? A long time ago, right? This is the biggest problem when you're responding, because whoever the problem's about doesn't even remember, right? It was so long ago that they kind of forgot. Okay, so how do you respond to this guy? Okay, let's say you're the I don't know, let's just make you melancholy, I guess. You're the detailed instructor, the TGL. How are you going to respond to this guy?
Thank you for letting me know.
Mm-hmm.
So make it okay.
This is a really big sandwich method, right?
Yes, yeah.
Like a very big first sandwich paragraph. Can you address the problem in the first paragraph? No. What do you have to address first with them?
They're insecure about approaching.
Yes. You have to tell them, thank you for bringing this to my attention. You're doing such a great job. I'm so glad you saw this. Yeah, no, I'm so happy to help, right? This is so important. Yeah, that's what you have to address first, because that's the biggest problem. They already probably know how to solve it. They're just too timid to go solve it. So if you make a really big first paragraph about giving them the strength to solve it, they already know how to do it, right? And then your second paragraph can be what? Some tips, right? And the tips are probably what they already were thinking, and it's just going to make them feel even better. Like, okay, I'm on the right track.
This makes me think of the lead like the savior stuff. This
Uh-huh.
You give them those actions and they get the power.
Yes. Yep.
So we're kind of building them up and they're feeling,
Uh-huh.
I can do this.
Yes. Remember how it said that we have to act and then it brings power. We have to do. You usually have enough information to do something, start somewhere. This is their biggest problem when they're phlegmatic. They just don't start. They have all the info. Yeah.
I think there's also some relationship building that can be done there too, because if
Yes.
somebody's in that, they want to feel connected to you. They want to make sure that
Mm-hmm.
this relationship is not being compromised. So even just
Yep.
a simple tidbit asking about their family or something that's happening that you know, that's
Yeah.
going to go volumes for
That's
them
true.
being willing to approach you again, and also
Yep.
feeling the confidence to then continue
Yes.
with whatever you set up. for them.
Yes. Love and respect we give to all, but trust has to be earned, right? And this is where you build trust. And when you have trust, then your instructors bring more problems to you. They're more open, and they'll ask for help because they know they're not going to yell at. They're not going to be that bad, mean guy, right? Okay, so yes, that's a really great point. When you can build that trust, you're increasing that relationship you have with them. Okay, so yeah, they really want understanding and just being made to feel good. Okay, so then let's talk about your email that comes from your sanguine instructors. Okay, what is this email going to look like? The sanguine is the fun-loving cheerleader. It's never serious. What's this email going to look like? Okay, this is a trick question.
They're not going to say it.
There you go. Right? What email? You're never going to get an email from your sanguine instructors because it's not a big enough deal, right? They don't need to send it to you. Oh, it's fine. They forgot their report 8 weeks in a row, but it's okay because they're grading on time. It's okay, right?
Well, by the time they actually, if there really is a problem that's so significant that they're sending an email, they probably are just really defeated because they don't have the skills to deal with it.
True. True. Like they're so fun and loving and stuff that by the time it really becomes a real problem, they shut down. Yeah, that's a really good point. Okay. All right. So what are you going to have to do then if you are the TGL? You're going to have to go to them, which means you need to keep a little bit extra eyes on these people, right? Because they're easy to get lost in the details of management or leadership because they're just having fun and people love to be with them. They love to have fun with them, but they're not necessarily always getting the mentoring or the help that they need. So you're going to have to check in more on them, and you're going to have to ask them the detailed questions and say, how is this instructor doing? Did they complete this, this, and this? And you have to do the work for them, that detailed area. Okay? All right. No email from these guys. Right? Okay, so what traits then did the Savior have? This is the obvious answer. Which personalities was the Savior? All 4. And what are we trying to be? All 4. We probably won't in this life. That's why we marry our opposites, and that's why we work with our opposites, right? So Melissa, who in your office do you have that's your opposite?
Oh, Rachel.
Rachel, yeah. Okay, so Rachel is the quiet, strong, detailed, right?
She thinks, she's deep thinker. I speak probably too soon.
Yeah, she listens a lot, right? Yep, so it's a good team. So Melissa may or may not have those personalities. She actually really does have a lot of those. But but she has somebody in her office that completes that circle so that she has those skills in her office. It doesn't matter if it's coming from her, because a leader is a we thing, right? It's not an I get the job done, it's a we get the job done. So just build your team so they have the skills you're missing, okay? All right, so we want to have all four. How can we become balanced in all four? How are we doing on time now? Where's my time? Okay, we're good. All right, so I think I had a quote I wanted to look at in the book that I liked. We'll see. Yeah, where'd it go? Okay. Look at page 75 and 74 for a second. I think this was a while ago, but I really like the quote, so we're going to pull it up. This is an awesome book, by the way. I wish we had had this a couple months ago when we were planning. Okay, so on page 75 in the middle, the quote by Bishop Dean M. Davies right here. He says, so this is kind of what I pulled out as far as being a leader. We've got to tell people, we think we've got to tell people everything they have to do. That might or might not be my personality. But help with the vision, help them understand what they're trying to arrive at or the results we're trying to obtain. And then allow, this is the hard part for those delegators, allow them to perform their labors and then return a report, right? Did the Savior do this? Okay, when we go to the temple, that's what the entire teaching is about, right? Go and do, come back and tell me, right? And so we need to give people that opportunity to go and do, to fail forward, to make mistakes so we can help them fix them. I am terrible at this with my daughter. We butt heads a lot because she's like the choleric sanguine. That's like not usually a combination. She's like the funny power person. But I always want to prevent the mistake in the first place. So I can see where her actions are leading, and I just want to be like, wait, stop. You're going to knock that over. And if I let her knock it over once, she probably won't knock it over again, right? But if I don't let her knock it over, she's going to get really close a lot, okay? So if we will let people make their mistakes, then they'll learn from them. Okay, and then on the other page, 74, so go back a page. Over here it says, from the brethren, it says, we have the responsibility to see individuals not as they are, but rather as they can become. I would plead with you to think of them in this way. And that was from President Monson, which I think is, again, did you have a question? Yeah.
I had a thought.
Oh, yeah, sure.
So last conference, President Uchter talked about the importance of leading by love rather than fear, because we have a tendency, whether it's parents to children, or bosses to subordinates, or politicians to voters,
Yes.
to use fear as a motivation rather than love. And that sometimes means allowing, and I have adult children, so seeing them make what I perceive to be mistakes,
Right.
you have to allow, you just have to allow and hope that they'll learn from their mistakes. And
Yeah.
just,
That's a,
have the faith that they can do
that
it.
they do. That's a really good thing for me to hear, because mine are little still. I want to control.
It gets
Yes.
harder in some ways when they're adult kids.
Yes.
'Cause, yeah, that's
Remember, ladies, how many years ago when President Monson used that S word with us? Do you remember the word? It stuck in my head. Shrill. Do you remember when he told us we were shrill? That is stuck in my head. He said, women, please don't be so shrill. He was so nice when he said it, but doesn't that just hit you? Okay, we do the same thing at work sometimes. Okay, so, and by the way, there's a personality plus for parents, and it tells you what your personality is and what your kid's personality is and how to communicate in discipline. It's a really great book. Okay, so to finish this up though, how can we become like the Savior then in all four traits? Okay, first off, read this book, right? The Book of Mormon. Study what the Savior did. Go through it and read it again, and I really want to focus on this myself, but go through and read it again from the standpoint of how did he solve problems? So go through and find the problems, especially, so probably more the Bible actually, but you get the idea. Go through and study the problems that he solved and how did he do it. What personalities did he use from which, or what traits from which personality did he use? And who was he talking to? And how did he approach them? Okay, so that's one way. Read really good secular books. The 12 do this all the time. They quote from really great books. There's lots of great ones out there. They don't have to just be necessarily from ours. Some of my favorites, What to Say When You Talk to Yourself, The 15 Laws of Growth from John Maxwell, How to Influence Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie is like the ultimate parenting book. It applies to work and parenting and friends and life, everything. Everybody should read that book. So there's really great leadership, personal growth books out there. Read them. That's just a few of my favorites. Okay, but then the last part I really wanted to show is to emulate the Savior and his leadership council. So in the last couple minutes that we have, look at this picture and tell me, what kind of counsel does he have? Think about the different jobs each of those people hold. What are some of their jobs? Throw them out there. Okay, surgeons, doctors, lawyers, pilot, teachers, car salesman, right? Elder Ballard. Okay, who else?
Businessman. One of them was the head of Gillette, and Victor was actually the vice president of Lufthansa, so he wasn't piloting anymore when he.
So he did both, right? So he kind of has some extra skills there. Yeah. Okay, what about newspaper? Wasn't it Elder or President Monson that was in newspaper? Okay. In publishing. Okay. He doesn't have, so President Monson does not have 12 men, 15, I guess, whatever, 14, that are like him, right? There are no other newspaper men on that council. When he made his council, or when the Lord called these people, he didn't just call people exactly the same, right? Okay, so none of them have the same job, right? They brought all those skills to the table and all the leadership skills that came with them. What else about their personalities? Okay, think about when conference comes. Whose favorite speaker is Uchtdorf? Okay, whose favorite speaker is Hales? He has a different personality, right? But after conference is done, my favorite talks to go back and listen to are Hales. I just fall asleep while he's giving them, but I love the detail that's in them, right? He's an excellent teacher and scholar. Okay, one of my favorites is Maxwell. I quote him all the time. Isn't he the ultimate quoter? I mean, he's already quoted twice today, right? Right? Yes, but he has the ultimate quotes. Okay, what about Monson? Whose favorite stories are to hear from Monson? Okay, always stories, right? Burning fields down with fire. Okay, Ballard. Whose favorite is Ballard? That was my dad's mission president, so he's kind of special in our house. He's also a really good speaker or teacher, but sometimes a little bit harder to follow. And what about Bednar? Okay, how many of you love Bednar? It's so hard for me. I love listening to Bednar because I just come away like, wow. And I think I got this much. Right? I just focus on one quote and I'm all, I think that's the gist. But you have to go through it over and over and over because he's so deep, right? So each of you have your own favorite speakers, and that's because they're your personality. That's what you're connecting to. Or maybe you're opposite, and that's what you're loving to hear.
The thing that I love to watch now are the face-to-faces, where they are interacting with each other, and they're always, okay, brother, go ahead. Yeah, and they're talking, but they're always touching, and they're going one after, they're just playing off one another, and that reminds me of, and this reminds me of, oh, but don't forget this, and they're so complimentary and so kind.
But do you think they always were? Or do you think that those are some traits they've had to become more well-rounded in all four?
Yeah. Well, obviously they've built a camaraderie because
Right.
they are able to find ways to learn from each other
Yeah.
and to work
Seamless.
together.
Well, they're
Yes.
assigned junior and senior.
Right.
I mean,
But see, I think junior and senior is just a mentorship thing. It's not a I know more. It's not a power thing at all. And so there's trust there. Yeah. So I really just love looking at this picture and thinking of the personalities that are in here, how they are working to become well-rounded in all four, and just kind of how you're attracted to the ones that are often like you, that are kind of like you. So I think if we take those traits and just kind of apply them to our own self, and in our teaching, and just remember to try and act like they would when we are dealing with instructors that might be having issues, or their instructors, you know, if you're, you're an AIM, TGL, their instructors, whatever, or your students, that when you reply to them and you're talking to them, try to go at it from their personality, because they'll build trust with you and they will grow as they see your strengths and their weaknesses in other people. So that's kind of what I wanted to share with you today. So I leave that with you. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.